Welcome, everyone. We have an exciting session here ahead of us. With me today, I have Nick Owen from WTV. Nick, welcome to the session, and thank you so much for taking some time to share with us about this case study that we have here today.
Yeah,
So maybe we'll jump right in here. So could you give some let's start with some background on sort of on WTV and the partnership that we have together, maybe.
yeah, sure. Thanks so much, Joachim, for inviting me to present this today. Really excited to do that. Yes, WTV. Just a little bit around a background about WTV. So, we are a well-established international communications company. We do actually have our own technology platforms, our streaming platforms, and we have production services for in-person and virtual and hybrid events, and we also have a creative services team as well. And with those, with those elements of our services, we service around 500 blue chip clients. And it's WTV is a company which is, we're around 65 staff. We're an international company. It was founded in Switzerland. I'm based in Switzerland. But we have our headquarter office in London, and we have offices in Hong Kong and offices in Spain, in Germany, and on the east coast of the US as well. So we are a small company. We're international, and we're able to basically operate with our customers around the world. And because I'm based in Switzerland, I do a lot of work with corporates here, but also the international organizations, and this case study is going to be about an event that we did for one of those companies. During the pandemic, particularly, obviously we had a real requirement to do more and more virtual and hybrid events, and it's in that period of time that the relationship with 6Connects really flourished. That we work together on a number of events, talking events for the Global Fund, for IFAD, for UNCTAD, for Médecins Sans Frontières, just to name but a few on the international organization front. And we also worked with clients like Syngenta and BNP Paribas on corporate events, management conferences and sort of fixed income conferences. So during that time, we really developed a really strong knowledge of the platform and its strengths and its robustness, how to configure events on it, how to deliver them live, and everything that we can do in post-production. So it has actually been a really important partnership for us, and continues to be so as we move to do more and more hybrid events.
Thank you, Nick. And last year we did towards the end of the year, we did a really exciting project together with the United Nations. Could you tell us a little bit more about the Human Rights 75 events that you did together with the United Nations?
Yes, exactly. So we were asked to do a very high-level event called HR 75, which is a United Nations celebration of the 75th anniversary of the Declaration of Human Rights. So as a high-level event, that means that, well, first of all, it took place at the United Nations building in Geneva with 400 very high-level ministerial delegates and delegates from international organizations around the world. And it also had it was a hybrid event in the sense that it had their offices out in Bangkok, in Nairobi, and in Panama coming in as well. So it had events going on all around the world. And again, we have such a good relationship with 6Connects that we felt that this event was very much well suited to running on the 6Connects platform, because it's an event that has a lot of elements to it. It has main events that are taking place in auditoriums, but we needed to do areas that are specific to things like side events, or we had other events such as ministerial pledges, press conferences, movie corners. So we had to build a platform that could accommodate all of that sort of content and material. And we know that for these types of events, it's really important that the branding is the branding of the event is then overlaid onto the platform in the right way, and that we're going to have a robust and secure platform during the course of the event. So we also had to do other elements of the event, such as stream it, of course, and that's where the nice thing about your platform is that we have our own streaming and webcasting platform that we can integrate into it, so we can seamlessly webcast the event, and then not only that, we can take it out to YouTube and we can take it out to UNTV. So that's one of the reasons why we chose your platform to host this event on.
Yeah, thank you. And in when you create such a hybrid event as complex, has a lot of moving parts, what are some of the key challenges that you're faced with?
Yeah, I mean, coming back to, I think the starting point often with a client like OHCHR, which is the organization behind the event, is really, they have a very, they've developed their own branding for this event, and we have to then take that and evolve it and overlay it onto the platform. And in this case, we used a lot of the templates that you have in the platform, but then we added a lot of graphical elements to those. So there is, to get that right and then to structure well, how does this event overlay onto, how can we use all of the facilities around the rooms on the platform, and to get that right and to do the back and forth with the customer so that they're very happy with the way the event looks and is transposed onto the platform. That's a key challenge, and there's lots of sign-off elements to that to make sure that it's all right. That's one side to it. One of the other things, and I mentioned that it was it's a hybrid event with sort of multiple poles, and I talked about events taking place in Panama, in Nairobi, in Bangkok. We had to basically establish broadcast quality communications between those locations, so that video and audio both ways can be transmitted, and that we have an executive producer that can manage the production across those three sites. So that's just from a production standpoint, that's quite a big challenge. And then finally, an event like this is often you trip up around sort of the audio elements of it. And in this case, we had to handle 6 UN languages. So in all of our streaming and across the platform, we have to be able to manage the event across the 6 languages. And that's one of the real strong points of the CNX platform, especially in things like chatting, where you can suddenly just switch languages so people can communicate and interact with each other. So that's one of those were the challenges. And during the course of the event, we created a case study video which shows you like, how does WTV manage this event across production and platform. And I think it's a good opportunity now to take a look at that video. We can play that one out.
Hi, I'm Louis from WTV. We're here this week at the UN in Geneva for the 2-day conference for the OHCHR, that's the Office for the High Commissioner of Human Rights. The idea of this event is that countries from all around the world will come together not to celebrate but to commemorate the massive advances that have been made in human rights, and to re-pledge their commitment to the Declaration of Human Rights and recognise that while we've come a very long way, there's still a way to go. We've got a massive team here that's come along because we're managing many aspects of this event, from the platform, for example, that we've built bespoke just for this event, where we have a big list of minister pledges, loads of representatives from their countries sending in videos and re-pledging their commitment to the Declaration of Human Rights. We have a movie corner where we have short documentaries that are being played out. We have side events going on, because this is not just happening in the UN, this is happening all around the world, in Panama, in Nairobi, in Bangkok. On top of this, we're doing all of the video production, sound, lights, camera, and we're doing it in 7 languages because this is a big international event for us with thousands of people watching. We're talking so much more than just a 2-day event. We've countless tech checks, rehearsals with the speakers, with the rest of the crew, and important meetings with the client. That's the kind of thing that we're adding on top. We're not just a 1-2 day crew for hire. We're here to really help bring your vision to life. We're just wrapping up here with the conference, and it's gone fantastic so far. Loads of engagement on the platform, happy speakers, and great content all the way through. It's been an absolute joy to be here to do this event, and we can't wait to do the next one.
That looks like a great event. There's a lot of engagement and pulling together such a truly global event. So for me, that looks like a success. But to when you work with United Nations on an event like this, how do they measure the success of such an event of such scale, and maybe particularly sort of the virtual element of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I mean, it sort of comes back to the brief that we were given at the very beginning, which is, create for us a platform that looks compelling, that's in line with the branding of the event. So that's the first thing that we need to do, and the first thing that's judged, let's say. The second one is, how many registrants are they expecting, and did we manage to actually hit those numbers? They were expecting around 2,500 registrations for this event. We managed to attract over 3,000 registrations, and over 2,500 of those people watched the live event on the platform and interacted and looked at content and downloaded content and engaged with each other on the platform. So that's very important too. And then, specifically around the platform on an event of this nature, which could be politicized, then it's about having that robust platform, through the event, no technical hiccups, and equally, the security elements of the platform, which protect it from any sort of corruption, let's say. So those are really the high level key things that we needed to deliver on. And working with you, we know that we have every we know how that it's going to be a successful delivery. So that is the key.
Thank you, Nick. And so you've mentioned sustainability in terms of like video capture. We mentioned obviously that there would be a very different event if you had to fly all those 2,500 people into one of the hubs, and so there's a strong sustainability aspect of this. But I know that there is a big project that you've done at WTV around sustainability, and could you tell us a little bit more about capture?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, it is a really important piece for us. Basically, a year ago, we managed to get funding from an entity called Innovate UK, which is in effect a sort of a branch of the UK government, because they were looking obviously to promote ways in which organizations around the world can become, let's say, greener and be more conscious of the carbon the carbon emissions of their activities. I mean, just as a background to this whole area, when we did research into this topic, it's clear that approximately 5% of global carbon emissions relate to the meetings and events sector. Obviously, because of all of the transport that takes place, there are over 30,000 large exhibitions a year, and over 4.5 million companies exhibiting, and something like 300 million visitors to those events, right? So, it is something that generates a lot of carbon footprint, and all companies have got net zero targets and ESG and SDG targets that they're looking to. But we found that there was no sort of one authoritative single source of data analysis that would be available for communicators, event managers to make decisions around these types of events. So, we actually received a grant of over £500,000 to develop this platform. It's something that WTV owns, as a platform, and can commercialize it at the moment. Right now, it's in a free trial mode, and it will eventually become a subscription platform. But what it does basically, it allows an event manager, communicator, to model an event that they're considering doing, whether it's in virtual or hybrid or on-site format, across some of the key components, like what's the physical, how many physical people are coming to the event, how many people will be attending it virtually, how will they travel to the event, will that be via planes, trains, automobiles, where will they stay, what sort of accommodation will they have, what sort of elements will be produced on site, like sort of merchandise and things of that nature, what sort of video production will take place. And so it's all of those things that the platform allows an event person to model very quickly, and the platform will then generate as an output the metrics. Basically, it will tell you how many metric tons of carbon is this going to produce, this event in this format, how much time are you going to use from your internal staff, and what is the cost of that time. And so it gives you an option to then say, well, if we do this virtually, it will be X. If we do it in hybrid format, it will be Y. If we do it on site, it will be Z. And hopefully you do that before the event happens, and you make the right decisions around the event. And we're not saying that every event has to be a physical event. There are good reasons to do that, but we're saying you just have to be aware of what is the result of that. And then, the platform also gives you the option to say, well, if I was going to offset that carbon with a certain value and a dollar value for that carbon, then you can then factor that into the budgets, let's say, that those events have. So this is a platform that's new to the market. We're very keen to gather a lot of feedback around it, so yeah, we're excited about that.
Absolutely. And if someone wants to know more about Capture, how can they learn more, and where should they go?
Yeah, so it's very simple actually. We have a website, and it's called capture.global. That website has all the information that you need. There's a very nice short video that introduces the platform, and then it's a very simple sign-up procedure, so you can get started on it very quickly. And of course, be in contact with WTV if you need any further information about it.
Well, Nick, thank you very much for today. That was great to hear from you, and for me, I was part of planning the HR75, but I still learned more today, and I hope that those of you that tuned in thought gives this an interesting insight into producing such a global event. So, Nick, thank you for taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joachim. Thank you.